I chose the name for Trivium Productions because the trivium, grammar, rhetoric, and logic which incorporate all that the modern movie industry is. I called it a phoenix feather film because the phoenix, throughout mythologies in history, fairy tales and such, the phoenix has been a symbol of rebirth, of starting over, and I'm really hoping that this project helps rebirth my grade. I definitely need some help with that. The opening scene, my character is passed out, or dead if you want to look at it that way, in a chair with a flask below his hand. Right from the start, I want the viewer to know that this little project is centered around alcoholism. If you pay attention and actually look on the flask, you can see two things. You can see one, the initials KDB, which the B comes into play in the next scene actually. Two, you can see the reflection of my character's hand in the metallic part of the flask. I wanted the reflection to symbolize that he can see himself in alcoholism. His identity is kind of based in that at this point. Then the next scene shows the tombstone emblazoned with Brown, the family name, which the B on the flask, Brown, hopefully the viewer could figure that one out on their own. You can see my character's reflection in the tombstone, again showing you that he identifies with what the tombstone represents, which in this case, the tombstone represents the death of his daughter. Then you get a shot of my character just eyeing the tombstone in mourning over what happened, kind of in like an overwhelmed state. Then it does a close-up on the face, and right before he takes a swig from the flask, you see just a quick little flash, and it's a picture of his daughter playing in the yard. I did this to show that the memory of his daughter is what draws him to drink. After that, it's the scene in the living room. He takes his jacket off, throws it on his work chair, and then sits down in his relaxing chair in front of the fire. And the first thing you see as he sits down is a memory of his daughter playing in the yard. And as soon as that first memory's over, you see him reach over and he takes a bottle of sipping vodka. If you look closely, you can tell that it's not made just to take shots of, but he takes a shot of the sipping vodka. He sits back, tries to relax a little bit, tries to wind down, but he has another memory of his daughter. The same memory, it keeps replaying through his head. So then again, you see the association of the memory of his daughter with his alcoholism and needing to drink to try to suppress that. After the second memory, he takes another shot, and then he basically just abandons the shot glass for the bottle and just starts drinking straight out of the bottle. Once he starts taking major swigs from the bottle, you get to this point in it where it's a very quick parallel montage of his memory with what's actually happening. So you have what's happening in his mind, and then what's happening in real life. So it's going back and forth between him drinking and his daughter playing in the yard. With this, and going back to earlier, when he sees his daughter, just a quick flash in the graveyard, it's something that Eisenstein would consider intellectual montage, which is just a form of editing just spliced in there, in this case, for the viewer to pick up on as causation and a reasoning. Also at this point in the film, where we have the parallel montage with the memory and the drinking, the music, instead of being droll and depressing like it has been throughout the rest of the video, becomes intensified and it matches his emotion. And then as the parallel montage sequence stops, the music sort of winds down with him just throwing the empty bottle away. After he finishes with the bottle, he's still distraught and he still needs more alcohol because he still has this memory. He's trying to get rid of the memory. So he reaches into his coat pocket on the chair because he remembers that the flask is still in there from when he had it with him in the graveyard. So he grabs that, and if you look closely, you can see on the wall behind him, above the desk, a sign that says essentially "Super Dad," reiterating how close he was with his daughter. As he grabs the flask and he sits down, he's starting to actually calm down. The music is calming down, and he's leaning back, and you can kind of tell the alcohol is starting to have the effect because he's starting to be relaxed. After he winds down, the music winds down, you're shown a blank screen, and then you're shown the first scene of the film. The blank screen, as well as following with the music, it shows you that his mind is it's kind of blacked out. It's gone. So it implies that he has passed out by this point. And then it comes back with the opening shot to show that what has all just been shown happened previously to what we were shown originally. So you're shown essentially the future, and then you're given the background story for it. And it's the same shot, whereas the film opens with the camera zoomed in on the flask. It also ends with the camera zoomed in on the flask. Also reiterating that the film is about alcohol. It's about his deep love for his daughter, but more importantly, it's about alcohol taking an effect on him. The main reason why I chose to do this particular sort of story is so many times in my family, my family members have become alcoholics, and quite a few have committed suicide either while drunk or have died of alcohol poisoning. And my entire family, aside from just a few people, have struggled with alcoholism. So it's something it's consistently relevant to me. It's on my mind fairly often. I thought it would be a good way to sort of put myself into a story. One other thing with the story is when the shot in the living room, if you notice whenever he sits down and there's the tray of shot glasses and the sipping vodka next to the fireplace, you notice that one glass has on it the Scottish flag. This thrown in there, kind of just like one of Pixar's little eggs, to show that this is a Covenant project made for Covenant, or for a class at Covenant. Just a little interesting thing to throw in there.